To begin this lecture series, we will be focusing on figures of speech in the English language. We use figures of speech to create images or mind pictures in order to express ourselves visually, imaginatively, and powerfully. Language may be used either in a literal or a figurative sense. Literal or denotive language is factual. An example could be, Nikki's boyfriend broke his leg. This accident literally or actually occurred. Figurative or connotative language makes use of comparisons and suggestive ideas. Nikki's boyfriend broke her heart is an example. This is a figurative language, suggesting that she is heartbroken. Now, there are many figures of speech, and it can be easier for us to group them into categories. So the first category is that of comparison. That is what we will be doing in today's video. So it includes similes, metaphors, personification, apostrophe, and allusion. There are other categories of figures of speech that we will go through in other videos. Exaggeration and understatement, which include hyperbole, litotes, euphemism, innuendo, climax, and anticlimax. Then there are sound devices. Sound devices can be considered one of the easier ones, which include alliteration, assonance, onomatopoeia, and rhyme. There are also contradictions. This includes antithesis, oxymoron, paradox, irony, sarcasm, satire, parody, appropriation, and epigram. Then there are more figures of speech that are not really grouped into any of these categories, so we put them into other, such as puns, rhetorical questions, synecdoche, metonymy, malapropism, and spoonerism. To begin the comparison, we will look in depth at what a simile is. A simile is a direct comparison that always contains the words like or as. In the examples below, we see the first example says, he is as wealthy as Bill Gates. This example can be identified as a simile due to the words as being used in it. This is a key feature that we look for to identify if a sentence is a simile or is not a simile. The next example says, her personality is like a bubble in a bottle of champagne. In this example, we see the word like used, and this is how we can identify that it is indeed a simile. Now, on to the next comparison, a metaphor. What is a metaphor, you may ask? A metaphor is a comparison without the use of words like or as. A metaphor refers to one person or object as being like another. The comparison is implied rather than stated directly. In the examples, we can see the first one says, he is Bill Gates. Compared to a simile where the example was, he is as wealthy as Bill Gates, this metaphor states that he is Bill Gates. The next example is, she is a bubble in a bottle of champagne. She is not like a bubble in a bottle of champagne. She is indeed a bubble in the bottle of champagne. The last example says, the lieutenant roared his commands. We are implying that the lieutenant is aggressive. We have just gone through what a metaphor is in its basic form. Now, you get an extended metaphor. An extended metaphor are recurring metaphors or analogies. They are extended over a passage or throughout a poem, which is very popular to use. The example here is, she was the bud blooming into womanhood. She was the petal, colorful and fragile, a flower in the making. We can see extended metaphors like these used in passages or more popularly in poems. We now go on to another type of metaphor, which is a mixed metaphor. These are incongruous and incompatible terms used to describe the same object or event. Mixed metaphors should be avoided as they contradict one another. The example here is: mountains of strawberries and cream were consumed during the Titanic battle at Wimbledon. We are creating a confusing image of tennis, strawberries, mountains, giants, and wars. This sentence can be very confusing, does not make sense, and therefore should be avoided. On to the next comparison. This comparison is called personification. Personification gives human qualities to inanimate objects or abstract ideas. Personification and metaphors are similar in the sense that they are both indirect comparisons. There are 3 examples here, as we can see. The first one states, "Autumn arrived in his coat of orange, red, and gold." This is giving human qualities to autumn, the season, and it uses the word his to give human qualities as you would to a boy. The second example states, "The clouds looked down and wept on the drought-stricken earth." This sentence gives the clouds personality. It gives them the ability to look down and cry. The last example states, "Pride embraced her as she went up to receive her award." We know pride as an emotion rather than a person. The words her are used in this sentence, and we can see that her would normally be used to describe a girl. We now move on to apostrophe. Now, this is not the apostrophe that you're thinking of from punctuation. It is a different type of apostrophe that is used in figures of speech. An apostrophe is an abstract idea or inanimate object, or a person who is no longer living is addressed or spoken to as if it were human. Now, the examples here are: "Lady Luck, please be there when I throw the dice." Lady Luck is not actually a person. It just means that the person needs luck when throwing the dice. The next example is, "Oh Shakespeare, if you could see your Globe Theatre rebuilt." Moving on to the last figure of speech for this video, and the last figure of speech in the comparisons category. This figure of speech is called allusion, not to be confused with the word illusion. This is allusion with an A. Allusion is either a direct or indirect referral to a particular aspect. Many poets allude to Bible stories like the creation or fall in their poems. As we see in this example, where temptation and fall of man are alluded to. It reads, "Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, deals with the biblical themes of the temptation and the fall of man." That is the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope it was very insightful and help you grasp a knowledge of the figures of speech in the comparisons category. I look forward to doing more videos on figures of speech and going through the other concepts spoken about at the beginning. If you have any topics that you would like me to go through in the English language, you can email me at everydaystudies101@gmail.com. You can also comment down below if there's anything that you would like me to cover. I also go into subjects such as geography, business studies, and life science if you'd want me to do that. And I could also do summaries on novels and reviews of poems. If anyone is interested, please comment below or email me if you have any further ideas. Credits to SlidesGo for this presentation, and the content is from the English Handbook and Study Guide by Beryl Lutrin and Marcel Pincus. It is the red and yellow book that is extremely helpful if you are in school till grade 12, and if you plan on taking English at university level, it is extremely helpful and will be a great investment for you to buy.